What are the best monuments to spend your time at? Well, let's find out. As everyone's playstyles and needs are different, it's difficult to suggest the best monument for you. But I'll lay out all the information and provide my thoughts so you can make a decision. Hey guys, Jfarr here and let's get started. Let's pit each monument's loot crate spawns head to head to see which comes out on top. Remember, a monument spawning a lot of crates doesn't necessarily make it the best. Some can be extremely tedious or difficult to loot. We'll start with the crate count, categorized into basic, military, elite, locked, and others, which can include toolboxes and custom styled boxes. The launch site has the most crate spawns by far, outstripping any other monument. The underwater labs are tricky to measure due to their procedurally generated layout, so we'll group them into large and small categories. To better understand which monuments offer the most rewarding loot, let's rank each crate type. Basic crates are worth 1 point, military 3, elite 15, locked 30, and others 2 points. If you want to know what each crate contains, check out my dedicated loot guide tutorial, where I break down the contents of each crate type. Measuring difficulty can be tricky, as it depends on the generated map, player population, clans on the server, and the size of your team. However, let's statistically analyze each monument's difficulty by ranking it based on the radiation levels, number of AI enemies, layout complexity, the likelihood of encountering other players, and overall speed to loot. By applying this scoring to all monuments, we can see the results. We can then combine the loot and difficulty rankings to get an average score. However, how we weigh these two factors depends on your playstyle and preferences. If you prioritize loot, we can give more weight to the loot rankings. If you're concerned about difficulty and ease of looting, we can give more weight to the difficulty rankings. Now it's time for my personal tier list. Depending on your playstyle, you may disagree with some of these. Be sure to head down into the comments and share your tier list, as you'll surely have a different opinion to me. Kicking things off with the Harbour. As a starting area monument due to the lack of radiation and AI scientists, you can expect to run into a lot of other players, likely in primitive gear. The Harbour features an easy green keycard puzzle, making it one of the best places to upgrade to a blue keycard. A recent update also introduces the cargo ship event, adding more excitement to the monument. Based on these factors, I would rank the Harbour monument B tier. Next up, the Junkyard. It's located close to spawn and doesn't contain any radiation. This opens the gate for all tiers of players to enter and loot around, so you could potentially run into a lot of people. However, due to the lower loot rewards, these players will likely only have prim gear. The monument also features a magnet crane minigame where you can recycle vehicles for scrap. I cover this more in my fastest early game scrap guide. Ranking the monument, I would also place it in B tier. There's not much to say about the Lighthouse other than it has no radiation, is located close to spawn, and often draws over many nakeds. I would say spend your time elsewhere and travel inland after spawning. The Lighthouse is often empty or filled with nakeds looking for a rock fight. Therefore, I'm placing this monument in D tier. The abandoned cabins are probably the most boring monument you can come across. It doesn't have any radiation or AI and is 90% swamp. It features 2 buildings which have 3 crates and a med crate or food box. At least in the 2-story building you can grab yourself a green keycard. Unless this monument's in your way, don't bother going to it, as the road is likely more rewarding. On that basis, I'm placing this monument in the D tier. The Satellite Dish, the oldest monument in the game, requires at least 10 radiation protection to enter, meaning fewer players compared to other monuments. There are easier monuments to access for a blue keycard and it doesn't have many crates. Overall, I place this monument in C tier. For absolute speed, there's the Warehouse, found alongside roads with no radiation. It can be dangerous to stay around due to the high number of players, with a low number of crates. However, I'd say the primary use is for the recycler, which can be handy. Therefore, I'd place this monument in C tier. Next, we have the Supermarket and Gas Station, which both fall into the same boat due to their similarities. Like the Warehouse, these monuments can be quickly looted for some crates and don't have any radiation. If you're looking for players to kill, the supermarket or gas station near spawn typically have a huge number of players roaming around. Avoid these spots if you're not looking for a fight. I would place both the supermarket and gas station in C tier. The Ferry Terminal has high hopes for the future, being the monument to connect you to other islands. It has no radiation, AI, or any keycard puzzle room. However, it does feature a simple and safe layout that attracts less people compared to the other monuments like the Harbour. I would place this monument in C tier. Next up, we have the sewer branch. This monument requires a low level of radiation protection. Outside, you can pick up a few crates from around the shed and parkour tower. However, if you want the juicy loot, you'll need a fuse and a green keycard to get in. The loot is pretty good, especially considering the size of the loot room. Good to loot and safe. This is an A tier monument. I love the water treatment plant. No radiation, no scientists, and you can loot it in just a few minutes. It's got a blue keycard door and tends to attract more geared players. The loot is great for its class. It even took first place in my fastest scrap guide video. So this one's our first S tier monument. Now for the train yard. It's a spread out monument with low rads for the most of it, but you'll need more gear for the puzzle loot. It's also got 3 scientists, with 2 guarding the power generator and 1 in the bottom floor of the keycard tower. The train yard also features a train event to extract the locked resources from wagons. The loot is spread out and the green and blue keycard room is a bit more complex, but there are some decent crates. I'm putting this in B tier. The dome is fun and easy to loot. Once you know the path and quick descent tricks, you're good to go. If you've got a heli, you can swoop in, grab the loot and be out in seconds. Just remember some rad protection. It's fun, has good strats, but not a ton of loot and can be a PvP magnet, so skip it if you're not into that. I'm putting the dome in A tier. Next, the airfield. I hope they update this one because it's kind of boring to loot. Low rads, 3 scientists in the tunnels, and some useful utilities. But it's big and open, so getting all the crates is a pain. So I'm putting the airfield in C tier. Finally, for intermediate monuments, we have the power plant. It comes close to the water treatment crate spawns, but due to the layout makes it much more difficult and tedious to get to all of them. It holds a blue keycard door behind a medium amount of radiation, while inside it only offers 4 crates. Comparing that to the water treatment 6 and train yard's 9 crates is not looking too good. At least you don't have to worry about the scientists. But it's big, so looting is a chore, along with needing a decent armor set to get up to the cooling towers. Therefore, the power plant ends up in C tier. Stepping up the challenge, we've got the abandoned military base. This place is crawling with 8 scientists and has no radiation, so you'll need to bring a gun. The base is home to the MLRS, and has a unique layout that changes each time you visit, but it's a bit dull unless you're after the launcher. And for the effort, the loot isn't great, making other monuments in the same class more appealing, so this monument lands in the C tier. The underwater labs was the first procedurally generated monument, and it's way more interesting than the military base. The size and modules are random, so it's hard to rank, but let's split it into small and large labs. Small labs aren't that great, with only a few modules to loot. Considering the gear and time it takes to get there, they're not worth it. So they're in the C tier. But a larger lab is a different story. They've got a lot of keycard rooms and unique loot boxes, but expect to find quite a few enemy AI. Plus, it's safer to loot since it's harder for other players to get there. So the large labs goes in the A tier. The nuclear missile silo is one of the newest monuments and it's got 2 loot areas, the ground level houses and the silo interior. The silo needs a blue keycard to enter and is a one-way trip. You'll need to fight a lot of scientists, so come prepared. But the layout makes looting and fighting pretty straightforward, and the loot is amazing thanks to the crazy number of crate spawns. Plus, you don't usually have to worry about other players because of the locked solo door. I'm placing this monument in the S tier as it's honestly a fun and rewarding monument to loot. Next, the Arctic base. The first monument restricted to the snow biome. You'll need warm clothes and some radiation protection. And don't forget a gun because there are 10 scientists. The base has 2 unique puzzle rooms that are easy to access and doesn't need any power setup. One of the rooms even has a snowmobile. But watch out for other players, it can get busy. so this monument's going in the B tier. The giant excavator pit is a mighty monument, but isn't great for loot. The main reason to come here is to activate its resource harvesting event. The monument has low radiation and is surrounded by AI, making it a tough one. And it's hard to hide from other players because it's so big and central. If you're after loot, skip the excavator. But it does offer a unique event that can be fun, especially now that diesel barrels which fuel the event are more common. So this monument is in the B tier. Out in the sea, we have the small oil rig. Any of the oil rigs are highly contested by other players, so don't expect to be leaving here without a fight. The monument has no radiation but is filled with scientists patrolling each floor. So you'll want to come prepared with a gun, armor and meds. However, the loot and lock crate behind the blue then red keycard door make the whole journey that much more worth it. Attempting to open the lock crate will trigger the heavy scientist event. However, this just adds more excitement and fighting them off along with their great loot. I'm putting the small oil rig in A tier. The large oil rig is similar to the small but with everything scaled up. We have way more scientists, player encounters, floor levels and loot. The large still doesn't feature any radiation, but armor is basically required due to the number of scientists you'll be fighting. You can also find a green, blue and red keycard puzzle around the monument. The red keycard room still features a lock crate that will trigger the heavy scientist event. Always be on your toes as it's common for large groups to come over and counter. Overall, this monument is one of the funnest and rewarding monuments you can tackle. Therefore, I'm placing the large oil rig in S tier. The launch site is the largest and most rewarding monument in the game. This is mainly due to the Bradley tank event, which when taken out yields 3 fully loaded crates with some of the best loot in the game. The monument itself also harbours a load of crates and 3 elite crates on the very top behind the red keycard door. The monument features a high level of radiation inside the keycard tower, with lower radiation in the surrounding area. 8 AI scientists can be found in the red keycard tower, with the outside only being patrolled by the Bradley tank. The launch site is rewarding, but it takes a lot of time to search around for all the crates, and the puzzle keycard room isn't as convenient as a lot of the others. I'm placing it within the A tier. Finally, the military tunnels. It's one of the hardest monuments to tackle if you're not fully prepared. You'll be up against the most scientists of any monument, a whopping 32, so bring plenty of meds, bullets and food. The tunnels have high radiation areas, so you'll need good radiation protection. But the loot is insane, with 6 elite crates, the most of any monument. Because of the high difficulty and the time it takes to clear the tunnels, this monument is in the B tier. Now we can see a complete tier list. And if you're curious, I would place the cargo ship event in the S tier if you were to classify that as a monument as well. Actually, if we compare the cargo ship's crate ranking against the other monuments, it comes out far on top due to the 3 lock crates and overall incredible loot. However, considering it's a special event, I don't think it's fair to compare. And that's it. Thanks guys for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.